Hello and welcome to Best Replays of the Week. I am Luke Neller and this is our third April Madness. If you don't know what that is yet, go back and watch the last two. So what do we have for you today? There are little machines punching above their weight, friendly fire saving the base from capture, and the amazing mutant from the dawn of time. Let's go! We'll start with a very special steel wool game featuring the mutant child of an M6 and a T-29. The M6A2E1 was from the heavy pre-order package, so that means Hotwire from the EU region has been with us from the very beginning. Cool! Anyway, the tank has extremely good frontal armor, but its sides and rear are almost unprotected. You can't afford to get surrounded when driving this thing. An FCM 50-ton gets in a free shot, but once the mutant reaches a choke point, it seems like an impossible challenge for the enemy team. Hotwire tanks the fire from 4 enemies and pushes through. The enemies have broken the northern flank, so Hotwire turns around and drives home at a stately 29 kilometers an hour. The commander gives his life defending the home base, but a medkit brings him back. Unfortunately, the damaged gun can't be fixed. One last enemy is knocked out, and the mutant heads back to the front. Everything is fine, as long as they all stay in front of the tank. Hotwire deals with the first batch just in time, turns around and destroys the other 3 as well. That's 10 kills, but the steel wall is starting to look a bit like Swiss cheese. That's enough though, as the last ally finds the artillery and ends the game. Victory for the mutants! That was well over 7k damage both blocked and dished out, with a tank that's only protected from the front. Impressive! This week's scout is Miko PL 2014, who drives the AMX 1357 on Proharovka on the EU cluster. Miko heads for the center, dancing back and forth with an enemy chaffee. A rival AMX is scouting by sitting in a bush, but that doesn't end well. Spotting enemies is good, but Miko doesn't want to waste opportunities to use the autoloader either. The chaffee pounces during a magazine change. It has time to land 2 hits, but the attack still seems a little suicidal. The home team has the advantage now, and Miko charges into close combat. The remaining enemies get lit up, and the game ends quickly. Victory! Nice mobile scouting there. Only 2 allies lost, and the numbers show who made the victory so easy for the team. A Confederate deals damage and supports the team. The S-35CA, driven by Tuga Force 1, is a bottom-tier bathtub, but it gets the job done. The fight happens on an EU server. Over the tracks and up the hill, we know how these fiery Salient games tend to go. The fighting starts before Tuga has time to climb very high, but this is a good spot to pour fire onto the enemies. The hilltop is crawling with enemies, so Tuga turns around and fights them instead. The bathtub is amazingly effective, and with a little backup, the enemies are swept from the hill. The Stug is the last enemy left alive. Tuga deals it a heavy blow, and watches as the allies end the game. Bottom tier, and in a French bathtub TD. The Confederate did as much damage as the rest of the team combined. Amazing! This week's Top Gun is Jonah SB7 from the EU region, driving the M26 Pershing on Ensk. The battle is a tier 8 encounter, and Jonah is about to go full Deadpool. Here we go, maximum effort. Try to hit me, big boy. The derp-armed KV looks dangerous, but Jonah deals with it perfectly and picks off an easy 8 for dessert. The VK, the T-3485, and a Jagdpanzer 4 fall like wheat before the sight. And even a WZ-111 seems helpless. Is the 30 going to be a challenge? No, apparently not. That just leaves the Tiga, which is picked off as the 10th kill. Top tier and in a good tank, but 10 kills in 4 minutes with almost no damage taken is still very impressive. Hidden Iron Death is a traditional sniper who doesn't believe in automatic guns or body armor. The 128mm boomstick of the Waffenträger Aufpanzer IV is all that is needed. The battle is fought over Erlenberg in the EU region. Enemies get spotted right away, and Iron Death starts sending metal down range. The first kill shows the sniper's confidence. Death moves a little when spotted, but doesn't abandon the firing position. The second kill is picked off at 400 meters. Enemies are pushing into the nearby base, but the sniper isn't going anywhere. The Waffenträger dodges incoming shells and fires back with deadly accuracy. The team is now in the lead, and it's time to press the advantage. The Foch dies unaware of the threat. A premium pattern duels the sniper, but that doesn't last very long. The next target is close and looking the other way. Death puts in a shell at point-blank range and lets a teammate finish the job. The last enemies are making a stand together. The Borsig dies quickly, but Olövi is harder to put down. Death should dodge this shot, but that could mean losing the 7th kill. The sniper burns, but the lion must die as well. The double kill is a great end for the match. A dramatic ending to an impressive game. 10k damage, 7 kills, and a rare achievement in the end. Well done. We have quite a few replays this time. Let's do the Defender next. Despite the name, Mr. Friendly Fire from the EU region focuses on the enemies at Live Oaks. Most Tier 5 tanks struggle badly in the Tier 8 battle, but the ELC is a bit of a special case. On a good day, it thrives in these games, and that is definitely the case today. Friendly Fire assassinates 2 artillery pieces and roams the map like a sniper, thinning the enemy's numbers. Nothing is safe from the little tank with a big gun. The Allies aren't doing so well, however, and before long the ELC is left alone facing 3 opponents. The IS-6 needs to die first. Friendly Fire avoids shots from the other 2 and kills the premium heavy in an ambush. The IS-3 has gone for the cap. This is a Defender replay after all, and Mr. Friendly Fire heads home to deal with the situation. But how do you kill an IS-3 in good repair with an ELC? You certainly can't risk taking a hit. An HE round resets the cap but doesn't do any damage. The ELC gets spotted and it looks like the SPG is heading into the cap zone as well. An APCR round to the face does nothing? The second one works, but the RT must be ready to fire as well by now. Another bounce, another reset, and then a risky attack on the SPG. The IS abandons the cap and charges in to do battle. A turning fight isn't going to work, so the ELC makes an attack and runs for cover. It almost works. Friendly Fire lives a charmed life and the shot hits a track. The ELC puts another hole in the IS and backs away. If the Soviet Heavy had any gun depression, this would have ended badly. All that remains is putting the last shell into the RT. Easy! A good Defender fight in the end and a solid game overall. This week's crucial contribution comes from the Asian region. The battle is fought over Ruinberg, and Fatal Error sits on top tier with an SU-122-44. Now, when you are on top tier with a powerful machine, you need to do something impressive to get on the show. Let's see how it's done. The game starts slowly for Fatal Error, and getting the first 3 kills takes a while. For the Allies, the game is a total disaster, and Fatal Error is left alone facing 9 enemies. The first one dies quickly, but the gun gets damaged, and there goes the repair kit. Next one to go is a rival SU. Then an IS-2. It's a great start, but the S-51 SPG lands a punishing hit in return. APCR ammo helps with dismembering the Churchill, and this time the RTs waste their opportunity. There's still 5 enemies to go, and getting eyed by the OI is bad. Error needs to get out of here, and fast! The TD is boxed in, and the RTs won't keep missing forever. Killing the T-34 helps, but it's that OI that's the real problem. Luckily, the Heavy gets impatient, and Era gets the chance to kill it on the corner. That leaves 3. The bigger arty is found nearby, and the resulting duel becomes an unintentional comedy. It's okay though, the faster reload wins. Fatal Era goes hunting for the last 2 enemies and finds the second OI asleep near the capture zone. I wonder what happened there. The remaining arty is a fast and deadly AMX, but it has chosen to sit still and wait in ambush. Once again, both the SPG and the TD whiff their shots, but only Fatal Era gets to have another go. GG. So that, dear viewers, is how you do it. Just stand alone against 9 enemies and win. For the final replay of the episode, we go back to the EU region for a high-octane brothers-in-arms game. Heishman drives an AMX 1390, while Mochi Tanks prefers the T49. Both are fast, powerful machines, and are in their element in a Tier 8 battle. The tanks head for the center, and Mochi starts the fight by putting a huge dent in an enemy scout. Heishman fights off at T-34-3, and the platoon takes control of the Abbey. Heishman takes on a Moots, while Mushti keeps control of the Hydra, taking shots of opportunity. A charioteer chases Mochi away from the Abbey. But Heishman joins the fight and makes it regret that decision. Assisting the takedown of an Indian Panzer is a nice bonus. This shot at 62 km an hour is nothing short of black magic. The scouts race to the eastern road and demolish a Type 59 together. Heishman engages a Super Pershing at long range, while Mochi starts working on a premium Jagdtiger. The last allies died a while back now, and there are still 5 Tier 8 enemies left. The 2 scouts relocate to the west and cooperate to finally bring down the Super Pershing. A Jagdpanther 2 challenges the duo, but there's no point in fighting it on its own terms. The way out is blocked by a Bossich, but a lucky snapshot takes care of it. The Jagdpanther from before is found guarding the enemy cap circle, and once again, Mochi derps it to death on the move. How do these shots keep hitting? That just leaves 1. Mochi goes looking for the arty and leaves Heishman doing donuts in the capture circle. The arty tries a reset shot in the end, but it doesn't connect. Victory by capture for the platoon. 9 kills between the 2 of them, and a very entertaining game. Thanks for sending it in, and congratulations! And that applies to all winners, of course. Thanks for the replays, and we look forward to seeing more of them from all regions. I'm Luke Nella, and I'll see you next time. Bye!